This is the chapter 2 review at the end of your notes. I'm going to do the whole review today, but you don't have to. So whatever part you're at in our class, just stop there. I'm just going to go through this. You can stop it. You can pause it. And like I said, you don't have to do all of it, just to what part we got to in class. So this part asks you to use the distributive property and or combining like terms to simplify. These are just expressions. You're not solving. So this is going to become negative 2x minus 12. They can't combine anymore. You're done. This is negative 7x plus 21. There's a 3x here and a 1x here that'll give you 2x. A 1 and a 2 give you a 3. A negative x and a negative x make a negative 2x. We're going to distribute here. 6x minus 12 plus 3 is going to be 6x minus 9. 5x minus 3x is 2x plus 9. It says use the distributive property and or combining like terms to simplify both. Here, it's going to be 3x minus 12 equals 48. I'm going to add 12 to both sides, and I'm going to get 3x equals 60, x equals 20. So from 7 on to the bottom, we are solving because we're in equation. These were expressions. Here, we have to combine like terms. I always say simplify before you solve. You're going to get 5x equals 10, x equals 2. As you're doing these, if something doesn't make sense to you, you have questions about it, circle the number, put a star beside it, so that when I say, okay, let's go over these, or send me questions you have, you can look back and you go, oh yeah, that's right, I had an error here. 4t minus t is going to be 3t. Subtract 7 from both sides and divide by 3. Here we have to simplify before we solve, so it's going to be 4x minus 8x minus 8 equals 8. Simplify before you solve. Negative 4x minus 8 equals 8. Add 8 to both sides. Divide by 16. Or I'm sorry, take 16 divided by negative 4. You're going to get negative 4. Next, you have an x on one side. So I try to bring everything to the left-hand side, no matter if it's going to be positive or negative. And then I usually bring the numbers to the right as well. So your answer is 1. Like I said, if I'm going too fast, go ahead and pause it. So I would do all these and then watch the video. Okay, so if at that point you haven't, make sure you're doing that. This one, I always deal with the variables first. So make sure you're, 3x minus 3x is nothing. So we're left with negative 10. And those cancel as well. And this is true that negative 10 equals negative 10. Therefore, all real numbers will work. And if you're like, I'm not sure if it's all real numbers or no solutions, well, if it's true, it has to be all real numbers. But if you want to check, pick any number you want, substitute it in. Let's say I picked 5. If I pick 5 and it works, 15 minus 10, 15 minus 10, yeah, 5 equals 5. If it works, then yeah, it was all real numbers. If it didn't work, then it's not. Here, subtract 2x from both sides. You're going to get 7 equals negative 3. Well, that's not true. Therefore, no solution. Okay, we're going to add 2d to both sides. 3d plus 5.3 equals 4.7. I'm going to subtract 5.3 from both sides. You're going to end up with a 0.6, well, negative. And then divide by 3. Negative 0.02. All right, here, we're going to clear the denominator like we did in class. I'm dividing by 8. Technically, that's 8 over 1. I don't like division of fractions, So if I multiply by 8, this is going to be 40 over 8j, 64, 24j over 8. All right, so it's 5j equals 64 plus 3j. Much easier to work with. Subtract 3j from both sides and divide by 2. J equals 32. Okay, so we have to get rid of this division, so we multiply. We're compensating for this by multiplying an 8 to that. Here we have to simplify before we solve. 2u minus 4 equals negative 4u plus 20. Add to both sides. Add negative 4 to both sides. U equals 4. If you ever get weird answers, that's okay. It doesn't mean it's wrong. They're not always going to be these perfect, pretty answers. Here we're going to simplify before we solve. Make sure you distribute to both terms. We're going to subtract 6v. Like I said, I always like to bring the variable to the left. Just have it. You do not have to. Subtract the 2. Okay. And lastly, you have to simplify on both sides before you solve. Oh, make sure you clean up both sides. That, you can't do anything more. That's a variable, that's a number. But here, you have 8b, and there's a 72, and there's a 3, so that's 75. Now you solve like normal. Subtract 8b from both sides. You're going to get negative 3b minus 30 equals 75. Add 75 to both sides, or I'm sorry, add 30 to both sides to get a 105. Divide by negative 3. 3 goes into 10 3 times. 1 left over, 5, 35. Okay, so make sure you check all your answers. That's the first page. Probably gonna make this video into a few different parts. Okay, it says translate into an algebraic expression and solve. It says 5 more than 3 times a number. 5 more, so you're adding, then 3 times a number is 197. So 5 more than 3 times a number is 197. I don't care if it's 5 plus 3x or 3x plus 5. You're gonna get the same answer, and as long as you get the same answer, that's fine. 3 goes into 1, it doesn't. 3 goes into 19 6 times. Leaves 1, bring down the 2, 64. Number 20, the sum of 38 and twice a number, the sum is addition, twice a number is 2x, is as always equals 124. You're going to subtract 38 from both sides, and you're going to get 86, divide that by 2, and you're going to get 43. 21, 2 less than. Well, if it was more than, it was addition. Less than is subtraction. Well, 2 less than in comparison to 6 times a number. So if 6 times a number and it's 2 less than that is the same as, is equals 10 more than 2 times a number. Okay, so when we're saying less than, in this instance, we're talking subtraction, not the symbol less than. The sum of 3 consecutive integers is 24. So we're going to add some integers together and get 24. So you don't know the first integer, you don't know the second, you don't know the third, but they're right in a row, so they're one space apart. If you can't remember this, you're like, what are you doing? You need to go back to the consecutive integer video in your notes and rewatch it. Okay, well, if x equals 7, then x plus 1 is 7 plus 1, which is 8. X plus 2 is 7 plus 2, which is 9. Are those consecutive integers? Yeah, 7, 8, 9. Do they add to 24? Yes, they do. The sum of 4 consecutive integers is negative 20. You don't know the first integer, you know the next one is 1 space away, and this one's 2 spaces from the original, and this one is 3 spaces from the original. Oh, but it said it's even integers. I messed up. So if they're even, they're 2 spaces away from each other. So it'd be 2, 4, 6. All right, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 4x equals negative 32, x equals 8. All right, well, if they're 4 consecutive even integers, 8, 8 plus 2, 10, 8 plus 4, 12, 8 plus 6, 14. 38, 40. Oh, but we're negative, so I messed up. Equals negative 20. Should be negative 8. Oh, goodness. Okay, I apologize. So negative 8, the next number up is negative 6. The next number up is negative 4. The next number up is negative 2. I haven't had my coffee yet, children. Okay, let's slow down. The sum of 3 consecutive odd integers is 81. So I have 3 integers. They're going to add up to 81. I don't know the first number, but I know the next number is odd as well, so it's 2 spaces away from the first, and then the next is 4 spaces away from the first. So it's 3x plus 6 equals 81. I'm going to subtract 6 from both sides, and I get 75. 25. Therefore, my numbers are 25, 27, and 29. Are they odd integers? Do they add up to 81? Yes. Now, that's how I was able to correct myself real quick over here, because go back and check. Are you doing what the question asks you to do? Yes. Okay. Solve the proportion. So 3 times 8 is 24. And 4 times x is 4x. Now you've created an equation you can solve. So some classes have gotten to this far in the lesson, some have not. If you can do this, great. If you can't, pause it and then just work on what you can and then come back to this later. Here, same thing, 4 times 6, 9 times r minus 3. So it's going to be 24 equals 9r minus 27. Bring 27 to the other side because we have to get r by itself. You're going to get 51 equals 9r. Divide both sides by 9. So 51 divided by 9. Here, 9x equals 10 times the quantity x minus 3. 9x equals 10x minus 30. Subtract 10x from both sides. Negative x equals negative 30. X equals 30. It says, does 2 8s equal 3 12ths? Prove your answer using 2 different methods. Well, we could say 2 8s equals, and you use your calculator, 2 divided by 8, 2 8s equals 0.25. And 3 divided by 12 equals 0.25. So they're equal. You could say, therefore, 2 8s equals 3 12ths. And you could say, all right, proportions, if they're, why is this not focusing? There we go. You could say 2 times 12, is that equal to 3 times 8? Does 24 equal 24? Yes. Okay, so 2 different methods. All right, I'm gonna make a part 2 video and we'll post shortly.